My name is Kelly Londenberg. I grew up in Lake Elsinore, California on a farm. So I had a lot of space to run around. There's a lot of animals. I could see a lot of light waves from the sun. I could hear a lot of traffic. I could hear a lot of airplanes and everything. A lot of nature surrounding me, and that was really the best place for me to be because I was so sensitive to the world in general. Some of the struggles I faced were a lot of behavior problems, like I had a lot of self-injurious behaviors. I could be in a restaurant and it might be so loud and the smells might be so strong from the food that I would just pick up mashed potatoes and throw them just because I was so overwhelmed by all these sensory things. But it looked like just misbehavior to my family, And so I was talking to the psychologist, and I had heard her talking in the room next door, and she said that she thought I had autism. And I didn't really think much of it then, but I kept the word in my mind. So when I finally understood that I had autism, and I started researching about it, reading about it, going to conferences. And for me, it was such a relief because I knew I was different. I didn't see things like other people, but finally, I had an explanation, and I got to meet other people that were like me and who experienced sensory issues. For example, I can hear the electricity going through the wires in the walls, and I can hear the airplanes flying far above, and I can hear people's hearts beating and their stomach growling. But I didn't realize that everybody didn't hear that, because why would you think somebody would hear something differently than you? At work, pretty much everybody knows that I have autism. And most people are very, very understanding, very nice, very accommodating, if I need a break or if I do something impulsive. So I could be sitting on the computer just typing or something, and then I might get up and run out the door. And I don't even know that I'm gonna run out the door. My body just does it. Because of that, a lot of times people can be kind of nervous around me if they know I have autism. It could be mixed reviews. Sometimes it's good to tell people, and other times it's not. A lot of times I feel isolated in groups of people, because even though if they're trying to include me, because when I'm with them, there's so much sensory things happening. For example, if I'm talking to 3 people, I'm looking at this person just to try to figure out what they're saying, but by the time I figure out what they're saying, somebody else is talking, and then the third person is talking, and it goes really fast, and it's hard for me to keep up sometimes. I also feel isolated in the sense that a few years ago my mom died, so now I'm living on my own, and it's hard to go anywhere new or unpredictable. I moved out here so I could be closer to a network of people that can help me. But I didn't grow up in this city, so I didn't know how to go to the store anymore, and I didn't know how to get gas, or I didn't know how to change the oil in my car. Those things I had to relearn again, just because I wasn't able to transfer how to do it from this, even though I was independent in doing that in Lake Elsinore. I have 2 sisters. My older sister, I didn't grow up with as much because she's 14 years older. But my younger sister and I are very, very close now. We had a difficult time growing up, Like in elementary school, she wanted to play with me, but I didn't really have any ability to play. Like I didn't play with toys, I didn't really do anything. I just pretty much wandered around. And if she tried to get me to do things, a lot of times I was aggressive or I'd punch her in the face. But then by the time we got to middle and high school, she wanted me to be cool. So she'd be like, no, Kelly, like don't wear that, like wear this. Or she would teach me things like, when somebody says, what's up, dog, they're not like talking about your dog at home, they're talking about like, you're my friend. So she started like teaching me things like that. And then by the time we were in high school and now as adults, we're very, very close. You know, now my parents have both died and she lives in Sacramento, but she still flies down like maybe once a month or so just to help me do any paperwork or any new things that I might need. And you know, we travel a lot together and do a lot of things together. So she's my best friend. I think a common misconception is that we're all the same. Like, you know, professionals try to say, oh, we're visual learners, or we don't want to interact with others, or some of us want to interact with others and some of us don't. You know, they might categorize us all into one specific category, or say that this person's high functioning and this person is low functioning. You know, you might have 100 of the group members in the group that can hold a conversation in some aspect, can answer verbally to requests. And somebody might say that that person is high functioning, yet out of the 100 in the group, maybe only 50 can independently cook a meal, or maybe they can't, you know, shower themselves, or maybe they can't, you know, read or, you know, add, you know, basic figures. You know, we all have our own strengths and weaknesses, and we need support in some areas more than others, and it doesn't matter by your verbal ability or, you know, social interaction. Our skills just range all over the board. Eventually, I would like to, you know, start dating, get married, have a family. I would like to eventually maybe write a book, go back to school, and study sensory integration a little bit better, so that maybe I could help to, you know, progress the field so that sensory is more accepted as a whole. Autism is not the most important thing about us. I mean, it's part of our identity, it's part of who we are, but we also have music interests and movie interests and social interests and likes and dislikes just like everybody else. So I think people just get hung up on the label so much and they forget to look at who we are as a person first.